Well, I'm Lance Izumi, and I'm with the Pacific Research Institute, and I'm the author of this new book called The Corrupt Classroom: Bias, Indoctrination, Violence, and Social Engineering Show Why America Needs School Choice. And, the book is really about what it says on the title. It's about all the reasons why a parent, besides all of the test scores and proficiency rates that schools often talk about, there are lots of other things why parents would want more choices in their schooling options. And, what I do in this book and what I talked about here today at the American Freedom Alliance event is to discuss, things such as school safety. If your kid is having problems with bullying, with violence, with even crimes committed by teachers on students, then you as a parent want to have your kid out of that school regardless of whether the school is a quote-unquote good school in academics.
Sure.
Similarly, if the teacher is using their classroom as a political soapbox to promote, extreme ideologies, then you want your child to have a lot better, more balanced education. So I talk a lot about all of those types of issues. I talk about sexualization of the classroom. I talk about religious bias in the schools all across the nation, not just here in California. And, I also talk about the fiscal mismanagement in school districts from coast to coast. And so, these are the types of things that impact parents, impact their children, and, are huge reasons why we should look to give children and their parents greater choices so that they're not stuck going to the system that is run by the public school monopoly.
Mm-hmm. To what extent do the school administrators know what teachers are advocating for socially and politically in the classroom?
Well, I think that, sometimes it may come as a surprise to them, but oftentimes not. There are teachers have very, I think, deserved reputations, I think, within schools when, they're promoting ideologies. For example, in my talk here today, I mentioned the case of Yvette Falarca, who is a public middle school teacher in Berkeley, who is one of the leaders of the riots that occurred earlier this year in Berkeley and other places in Northern California. Mm-hmm. And so it's very well known that she's a radical leader of these Antifa, by any means necessary type groups. Mm-hmm. And yet she is continued to, her employment in the Berkeley schools, even though, the administrators have been on notice that she is a person who has these violent ideological tendencies.
Mm-hmm. Do the teachers' unions make it difficult for administrators to discipline?
Oh, yes. One of the things I talk about in my book is, how difficult it is for, the school districts and states to try and discipline teachers because of union contracts, because of state laws. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, in New York and Los Angeles, you have teachers who have committed, serious offenses, sometimes, serious crimes, mm-hmm. and yet they are kept on the payroll, but kept in so-called rubber rooms, mm-hmm. where they are basically paid to sit and read the newspaper. And this costs, like LA and New York, just those two districts, $15 million a year per district.
Mm-hmm. Do charter schools have these teachers' unions?
Some charter schools do have teacher unions. Most of them do not, which is one of the reasons why the teachers' unions are so anti-charter school, is because obviously they see them as competition, that they see that children are oftentimes getting a better quality of education in those schools, and the teachers are happier and would rather teach there because they have more freedom to teach, and they're actually pulling the best teachers into those schools.
Mm-hmm. Are they required to teach Common Core?
Yes, some of those schools do teach Common Core. That's one of the problems with Common Core, is that when a school district or a state adopts Common Core, well, it's all public schools, must teach to Common Core, and that's a huge problem, which is one of the reasons why, it's important for parents to have that option, mm-hmm. not only to go to a charter school, but to go to a private school option, mm-hmm. where that isn't a requirement that the school teach Common Core.